What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we've just got a massive update from Bungie, and they reflect a bit on Lightfall, but they also talk about a lot of changes that they have planned for the game. Some of them come in this season, and other stuff that will land in Season 21. So they talk about adjustments coming up for Guardian ranks, but also for Commendations, and they're going to be tuning some of that stuff even more. But they've also got changes coming for Heist Battlegrounds, more difficulty adjustments, changes for scoring and reputation, especially for Vanguard, adjustments to exotic armor drop rates. They'll also be adding new exotic drops to the Vex Strike Force event, and then there are build crafting updates. Plus, Bungie will be adding forms of exotic focusing to the game. So lots to talk about in this one. We'll jump in and break it all down. As always, I hope the video is useful. And now let's get into it. Initially, they speak about Guardian ranks. They do talk about some updates that have already gone live, but in terms of stuff they'll be doing in the future, for Guardian ranks, they say they've refined their goals for seasonal resets, and so the plan is to be able to renew our current rank quickly in the next season. And when starting a new season, the rank displayed to everyone will reflect your highest rank earned last season, and if you achieve a higher rank than you did last season, it will be your new displayed number. So instead of totally resetting, it'll be able to go up over time. They say players renew their previously completed ranks by only completing blue tinted categories in the Guardian rank progression. Other categories will not reset, and ranks you do not renew will fade at the end of a season. And then commendation counts will be reset each season to reflect your experience with the newest content, and your commendation score and breakdown will be tracked each season, but you'll only lose a percentage of your commendation score each season rather than having it all reset. Plus, they say in Season 21, they're adding a new display to the journey screen that will show your recent seasonal history. This will include Guardian ranks, commendation score, commendation breakdown, challenges, and seasonal triumph score. So a few interesting updates there, and they show an image right here of how that will display recent seasons. But they say they believe several objectives for Guardian ranks were initially overtuned. And so currently planned for Season 21, returning players will start at rank 5, and ranking up from 5 to 7 will be faster than it was to rank up from 6 to 7 at launch. And then rank renewal will be fast-tracked, so players will have a quickly renewed rank 7. By playing seasonal content, earning artifact power, completing challenges, and trying out the newest exotic. But additionally, they plan on remixing ranks 6 to 11 to provide a better expression of skill between those ranks. So some positive adjustments right there and plans for the future of these systems. Some of it may be a little bit complicated, but we'll see how it plays out over time and give us your thoughts below. They do say though that in the coming weeks they plan on making additional updates to giving and receiving commendations to make them more meaningful, and that includes updating eligibility for commendations based on activity participation, and adding a new commendation, Best Dressed. Then starting in Season 21, objectives to receive leadership commendations in ranks 10 and 11 will be retroactive for the season, so raids and dungeons that you lead from day 1 will count towards progress. So we'll see how those play out when we get them. But next, they speak about Heist Battlegrounds, and they say, we think our first Nightfall Battleground felt great on Hero, similar to how it played that first time running it in Season 19. And on Legend and Master, however, things are a little bit less clear, and we have some changes in our upcoming Season 20 mid-season patch. So for Heist Battleground Mars, they're decreasing how often combatant waves spawn on higher difficulties in the Towers phase, and also increasing the map score multiplier to help players reach score goals without exploits, as well as adding additional ammo crates. But other Battleground changes include reducing the frequency and number of combatant waves in boss fights, reducing the health of the Death Tongue choristers, and then they say Hive runes now have the same health on all difficulties, and they'll be thinning out the fallen trip mines in the Heist Battleground Moon. There's also a change coming to Neomuna patrols. They list some of the changes they made the other day, where reducing the rate that rank and file red bar enemies are replaced by tougher elite enemies. And in a future patch, certain patrols will be easier to complete. Not really sure what that means, but just an additional change there. Here though, they speak about Vanguard scoring and reputation, and making the scoring curves between different difficulties smoother. So in a future patch, they'll take a pass at low map score multipliers and individual objectives to make sure everything feels better, specifically Guardian ranks Nightfall scoring objectives and Dares of Eternity bounties. But they'll additionally add a throttle to prevent certain exploits as an optimal score strategy. And beyond that, they say, we plan on doing a full review of Vanguard scoring over the entire season and may have other tunings to make. So that sounds positive, but here they speak about exotic armor drop rates. And specifically, they plan on Lost Sectors not being the only source for new exotics, and they say in an upcoming update, the Vex Strike Force event in the Incursion Zone will drop a new piece of exotic armor if you have any left to collect, on a knockout list with no slot limits like Lost Sectors have. So if you don't have any exotic armor left to collect, it will drop a random exotic roll. So I think that's certainly positive, although I'm sure the conversation about the spawn rate for the event will come up even more then. But it will at least be an additional source with a pretty high drop rate, at least based on what they've said. Next though, they say they're adding new armor mods in Season 21 to replace some key features that players were missing from their pre-Lightfall builds. So first there'll be powerful attraction, and when using your class ability, you collect all orbs of power within a radius determined by the number of copies of the mod you have equipped. That sounds interesting, and they'll additionally add elemental charges, and collecting the subclass collectible associated with the damage type, such as Fire Sprites, Ionic Traces, Stasis Shards, or Void Breaches, will have an escalating chance to grant you a stack of armor charge, and on Strand, this will be generated by destroying Tangles. They also point out a weapon perk change that they have for Shoot to Loot, and it'll be able to loot orbs of power in addition to ammo boxes. So that's an interesting concept, not sure what you guys think of it, let us know below. However, here they also outline changes to the seasonal ritual schedule, and especially since Season 21 won't see a change to power levels, they say in week 1 of the season they plan to run Trials of Osiris. And they're hoping this will be an ongoing change. If it's a week where no raid is launching, no Iron Banner is running, and no significant power climb is introduced, we think we should run Trials of Osiris as early as possible. And then for week 4 of Season 21, they're aiming to make Grandmaster Nightfalls available. And again, because of that power level difference, they believe they can successfully launch Grandmasters earlier. They do point out though that separately, Conqueror Gilding is still planned to open in week 7. So it will just be the Grandmaster version of the Nightfall. But that is certainly a couple of positive changes there, and less disruption to those rituals, I guess, early on in the season. But here they say they're adding exotic armor focusing to Raoul in Season 21, and when this goes live, all exotic engrams aside from drops from activities that award exotics like Lost Sectors, the Strike Force, or Nightfalls, will no longer auto-decrypt, and instead will sit in the engram inventory and can be focused at different tiers. And we can see they will focus around different releases right there. And so advanced decryption here will focus an exotic engram to a specific entitled release. And just like now, exotics that came out alongside seasonal releases are always included in the previous yearly entitlement, with the cost being an exotic engram, an Ascendant Shard, and 30,000 Glimmer. There'll also be precision decryption, which allows to directly focus the exotic armor you want, which will have a higher cost, so an exotic engram, 3 Ascendant Shards and 60,000 Glimmer, as well as an exotic cipher. And they say they plan to raise the exotic cipher stack limit from 1 to 5. But as before, players will still have the option to decrypt them without any focusing, and obviously there won't be a cost involved. And they also say we won't be able to get new pieces of exotic armor from focusing, and they'll have to be earned from their typical sources, but they say in the future they are looking to move acquiring new armor to a more accessible location. So a good few changes there, and one I wasn't really expecting with exotics. I think that is a positive overall though. And otherwise for Season 21, they say we're upgrading more than 15 of our lower performing exotic armors and rolling out balance changes to several others. There'll also be exciting news for players who enjoy improving their raid and dungeon exotic drop rates through triumphs, and they're taking a pass at team-unfriendly Vanguard bounties requiring specific weapon or ability kills. So there we go guys, that pretty much is all of the specific changes that are upcoming at least from the blog post today, but it's a pretty big blog post, so if you want to check it out in full, I'll link it down below. Let us know what stands out from that conversation down in the comment section. Quite a lot of stuff to think about, so I'd love to get your thoughts down below. But if you've enjoyed the video today, feel free to drop a rating and get subscribed for more Destiny content. But otherwise guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all very soon.